The debris field stretched like a frozen ocean, jagged and glittering in the dark void, scraps of starships turning slowly, drifting like forgotten bones. Private Ryan Cole sat hunched in the cockpit of the patrol skiff, boots propped up against the control console in blatant defiance of regulations. Regulations had a way of not mattering when you were 3 sectors out from anyone who cared. He chewed on a stale protein bar, pretending it had flavor. The skiff rattled every few minutes, reminding him that its best days had been left behind with its previous pilot, probably in some bar fight or reactor mishap. The console beeped weakly, not so much alerting as complaining. Ryan squinted. "Life sign, out here." He smacked the screen with his palm because that usually improved accuracy. The signal flared again, faint but steady. He leaned forward, eyebrows climbing. "Well, either I just found the galaxy's toughest cockroach, or somebody up there's having a very bad day." He steered through twisted hulls and shattered solar arrays, muttering at the navigation thrusters like they were stubborn mules. After a tense few minutes of weaving through jagged steel that could slice the skiff open like a can, he found it, a cracked escape pod wedged between the remnants of 2 cruisers. The pod's surface was scorched, its beacon flickering in lazy pulses. Through the fractured canopy he saw her. At first glance she could have been human. Same limbs, same fragile frame, though she looked as though a stiff breeze could finish her off. But her ears, long, elegant things that tapered into delicate points, were unmistakably not human. They twitched faintly even in her unconsciousness, as if listening to secrets only the void could tell. Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Well, I'll be damned, space elf." He tapped the side of his helmet. "Command always said we'd run into something weird one day. Guess today's my turn. Hope she doesn't bite." The pod hatch fought him, its controls sparking uselessly. He cursed under his breath, jammed a plasma cutter against the seam and forced it open. The smell that hit him wasn't blood, not the way humans knew it. It was sharp, metallic, and carried a strange sweetness, like ozone mixed with burnt sugar. Her veins glowed faintly under her pale skin, a bioluminescence that was dimming with every second. Great! She's not just an alien, she's a glow stick that's running out of battery. He slipped his arms under her, surprised by how light she was. "If I get space rabies from this, I'm haunting the medics." Back aboard his skiff, Ryan laid her on the medical cot, which immediately began protesting. The automed screen flickered red warnings: unknown biology detected, unsupported life form, probable death imminent. Ryan rolled his eyes. "Thanks for the pep talk." He rummaged through the kit anyway, trying scanners, trying injectors, none of it sticking. Her breathing grew ragged, her ears twitching like broken antennae. For a moment he thought she whispered something, but it was too faint, a broken rattle of syllables that dissolved into coughs. He crouched close, watching her chest rise shallowly. "Listen, I don't know your name, species, or favorite color, but you look about 2 minutes from checking out. And I'm not letting my first alien encounter end with me babysitting a corpse. Too much paperwork." His eyes darted to the blood replacement system, integrated into the med station. The idea arrived like a drunken dare, half insane, half inevitable. He licked his lips. "If this works, you owe me big time. If it doesn't, well, you won't be around to complain." The Automed AI spoke in its polite, disapproving tone. "Warning. Cross-species transfusion presents extreme hazards including cellular rejection, metabolic collapse, and—" Yeah, I've been told I'm bad company," Ryan muttered, slotting his arm into the port. The system whirred, confused, but he overrode its protocols. He felt the sting of the needle, the pull as his blood flowed into her veins. He tried not to think about how much he might regret this in 5 minutes. At first nothing happened. Her glow dimmed further, her skin turning ashen. Then, like a dying engine coughing back to life, faint color flushed her cheeks. Her chest rose deeper, steadier. The veins that had been fading lit again, threads of light flickering under her skin. Her eyes shot open. They weren't human eyes. They shimmered, shifting hues like oil on water. They locked onto him with sharp confusion and disbelief. Her lips parted, trembling around words that cracked like static. "You human." She stared at the IV line, at his arms still connected. Her long ears flicked once, in a gesture somewhere between alarm and astonishment. "Your blood." Ryan managed a crooked grin. "Yeah, you're welcome. Though full disclosure, it probably tastes like ration bars and recycled coffee. Hope you're not picky." Her eyes widened, disbelieving, as though the absurdity of it outweighed even her own survival. For a heartbeat she looked ready to laugh, but instead her body sagged back onto the cot, exhaustion overwhelming her. Still, her ears twitched once more, softer this time, as though even unconscious, she couldn't believe what had just happened. Ryan sat back, pressing a bandage over his arm, muttering to himself. "Congratulations, Cole, you just gave blood to a space elf. What's next? Adopt a plasma leech. Bring home a black hole as a pet. This day just keeps getting better." The med station beeped approvingly for the first time in years. The alien woman's breathing steadied, glowing veins brightening faintly in rhythm with his own pulse, though he didn't notice. He just leaned back in the chair, stared at the ceiling, and sighed. "Well, guess I've got a new roommate." Ryan woke to the sound of coughing. Not the polite kind, not the "I swallowed something wrong" kind. This was deep, ragged, like a reactor venting steam after a bad jump. He sat up on the cot in the corner of the cabin, hair sticking up like he'd lost a fight with zero gravity. The ship's internal lights hummed weakly, dimmed to night mode, which meant it was either 300 hours or the power grid had finally given up pretending to be functional. The alien woman was awake. Barely. She sat hunched forward on the medical cot, long ears flicking erratically with each cough. Her skin glowed faintly again, though in a fractured, uneven way, like damaged circuitry sputtering back to life. Her eyes, those shifting, liquid oil eyes, fixed on him the moment she realized he was watching. "You," she rasped, voice hoarse. What did you do?" Ryan rubbed his face. "Morning to you too. Or, whatever your people call the part of the day where you wake up regretting decisions." He gestured lazily at the IV line, still faintly glowing where it connected them. "Gave you a pint, or two, or three. Didn't exactly measure. Hope you're not allergic to human blood." Her ears jerked upright, stiff with alarm. You bled into me." The words were half outrage, half disbelief. "Relax, I'm clean. Last med check was, well, a while ago, but I haven't kissed any radioactive frogs lately." He leaned back in his chair, arms behind his head. "Besides, it worked. You're not dead. You're welcome." She blinked at him, clearly trying to decide if he was insane, stupid, or both. Probably both. Her hand touched her arm where the line still fed faint traces of his blood into her system. Her fingers trembled as if she could feel it moving under her skin. "This is impossible. Your kind's blood should reject mine, should poison me. Guess you're tougher than your manual says." Ryan smirked. "Or maybe I'm just that compatible." "Lucky you." She coughed again, but this time it ended with a strangled laugh, half bitter, half hysterical. "A human soldier of all things, feeding me like some cattle tether." Ryan's eyebrows shot up. "Hey now, I'm nobody's cow. Bull maybe on a good day." He tapped his chest. "This is premium-grade soldier blood, best you'll find in this quadrant. Don't get used to it, though. Supply is limited and there are no refunds." Her ears twitched downwards in a strange, subtle way, as if the gesture meant amusement despite her scowl. She leaned back against the cot's headrest, exhaustion dragging at her limbs. "You're insane." "Not insane, resourceful. Difference is about 3 letters and a commendation I'll never get." He reached over, unhooked the IV, and patched her arm with a sealant strip. "There. Now you can complain without me leaking into you." For a long moment she studied him, eyes narrowed. "Why?" she asked finally, voice quieter as though the question itself surprised her. "Why would you do this, for me?" Ryan paused, fingers drumming on the console beside him. His usual grin faltered, but only for a second. "What was I supposed to do? Watch you die and tell command, well, sorry, she had funny ears. Doesn't look great in a report. Besides, he shrugged, forcing levity back into his voice. You're the first person I've met in 3 weeks who is just me talking to myself. Would have been rude not to keep you around. Her eyes softened for a fraction of a heartbeat, though she hid it quickly, ears angling away as if embarrassed. Humans, always joking when you should be serious. That's our survival strategy. Laugh so the void doesn't laugh first. He got up, stretched, and opened the locker near the galley unit. He pulled out 2 nutrient packs, sniffed one, grimaced, and tossed it her way. Here, dinner of champions, or at least dinner of soldiers stuck on broken patrol ships. The packet landed in her lap. She eyed it suspiciously, turning it over in her hands. What is it? Flavor's officially called beef, but I'm 90% sure it's recycled boot leather in gravy. He tore his own open and slurped. Not bad if you hold your nose. Go on, it's edible, probably. She sniffed it, wrinkled her nose, and muttered something in her own tongue that didn't sound complimentary. Still, she forced a sip, grimaced, and then blinked in shock. Salty. That's humanity in a nutshell, salty, stubborn, somehow still alive. Her laugh this time was genuine, small but sharp, cutting through the cabin's hum. She shook her head, ears flicking as though trying to dismiss him. You're ridiculous. Ryan grinned, wiping his mouth. Best compliment I've gotten all year. For a while, they ate in silence, broken only by the groans of the ship's aging hull. The quiet didn't feel so heavy anymore, though. She leaned back, eyelids lowering, clearly fighting to stay awake. Ryan cleared his throat, softer now. Got a name? She hesitated. Her gaze lingered on him, weighing trust like it was a currency too valuable to spend. Finally she whispered something, syllables sharp and fluid, unhuman. She repeated it slower, and though his tongue fumbled around the sounds, he managed a rough approximation. All right, he said with a crooked smile. I'll probably butcher that every time I say it, so don't take it personal. Her ears drooped in a way that seemed almost like amusement. And you, what is your name, Bloodgiver? Ryan Cole, Private 3rd Division. Professional ration bar critic, amateur lifesaver. He tapped his chest again. But you can just call me Ryan. Everyone does. Mostly because Private Cole sounds like a bad school teacher. Her lips curved faintly, the closest she'd come to a smile yet. Then her eyes fluttered shut, exhaustion claiming her. The glow in her veins pulsed steady now, stronger, fed by something both alien and human. Ryan watched her for a while, then leaned back in his chair. The ship groaned, the stars drifted past, and he muttered to himself. Well, Cole, you've officially adopted a space elf. Let's hope Command doesn't make you fill out the paperwork for this one. Ryan woke to the sound of muttering that definitely wasn't his own. He cracked an eye open and saw her, sitting upright on the cot, legs crossed, glaring suspiciously at the diagnostic scanner like it had just insulted her ancestors. Her ears twitched in sharp flicks, and every time the scanner beeped, she muttered something under her breath in that sharp, musical tongue of hers. Careful, Ryan said, voice still thick with sleep. Talk too mean to it and it might actually explode. Trust me, I've seen it happen. She glanced at him, unimpressed. This device claims I have iron in my veins now. That is not possible. He stretched, groaning, then grinned. Congratulations. You're part human now. Side effects include craving caffeine, complaining about everything, and an irresistible urge to kick vending machines. Her ears flattened halfway, like they couldn't decide if they were supposed to signal anger or confusion. Do you mock everything? Pretty much, it's cheaper than therapy. He swung his legs off his bunk and padded over, peering at the scanner results. Look at that. Red blood cell count stabilizing, oxygen transfer climbing. You're practically glowing. She scowled. I was glowing before you infected me. Yeah, but now it's more of a healthy glow. Less dying lantern, more walking nightlight. He tapped the scanner cheerfully. Don't worry, we'll get you a sticker when you're cleared. She let out a sharp exhale that might have been a laugh if it hadn't sounded so irritated. Then, quieter. It should not. The scavenger ships came in fast, their engines flaring like angry wasps, weapons locking onto the skiff with a precision that made Ryan's stomach twist. He flicked the defense grid online and muttered, "Great, Cole. You wanted company, and now the whole galaxy shows up for dinner." The alien woman stood braced against the wall, plasma cutter still in her grip, her long ears sharp and alert. Her glow had strengthened since the transfusion, pulsing faintly in rhythm with the ship's emergency lights. She leaned toward the viewport, eyes narrowing as the scavenger hulls drew closer. "They are small," she said, "like a parasites." "Yep," Ryan answered, yanking hard on the controls as the skiff jolted sideways. "Parasites with cannons, which makes them just slightly more inconvenient than actual parasites." The ship's hull rattled under the first volley of warning fire. The console spat sparks and Ryan slapped it as if that might help. "Hold together, girl. One fight, that's all I'm asking. You can fall apart after I'm dead." The alien tilted her head. "You speak to the machine as if it can hear you." "She can hear me," Ryan shot back, steering into a roll that pressed them both into their seats. "She's just stubborn like me." Another blast rocked the skiff. The woman steadied herself against the wall and said, with unnerving calm, "We should fight." "We?" Ryan asked, eyeing her sideways. "Lady, you barely stood upright an hour ago." Her ears twitched forward, "And yet I am standing now." She lifted the plasma cutter, the glow in her veins brightening. "Your blood makes me strong, perhaps strong enough." He barked a laugh, teeth gritted as he lined up the skiff's old turrets. "I swear, if you start singing heroic ballads in my honor, I'm ejecting us both." The scavengers swooped in closer, grappling harpoons launching. Ryan cursed. "They're trying to board figures. My charming personality must be famous across the sector." He threw the ship into a barrel roll, knocking one line loose. Another clamped down tight, dragging them toward the scavenger's ugly maw. The alien woman didn't wait. She lunged toward the hatch, plasma cutter humming. Ryan swore again and scrambled after her. "Hey, at least let me give the safety briefing before you charge out there." The airlock shuddered as the scavengers forced the connection. The door hissed, sparks showered, and then it yawned open with a shriek. Armed figures poured through, helmets scarred, weapons scavenged from 10 different wars. The alien moved first. Too fast, Ryan thought, far faster than she had any right to. She swung the cutter in an arc, slicing through the first scavenger's rifle like butter. Sparks cascaded, and the man reeled back with a howl. Ryan dove behind her, blasting at another with his sidearm. Not bad, glow stick, for someone who couldn't eat a ration bar without wincing yesterday. Her ears flicked back sharply, but her eyes gleamed. "Your blood hums in me. I feel loud." "Yeah, that be the caffeine, gets everyone." 2 more scavengers rushed them. She twisted, her movements sharp, almost graceful, her long ears cutting through the dim light as she ducked under a swing and shoved the cutter into a chest plate. Ryan finished the second with a clean shot, muttering, "You're making me look bad. Stop that." The fight surged. More scavengers poured in, shouting in guttural dialects. The skiff groaned under the strain of being chained to a bigger ship. Ryan ducked behind a panel, firing bursts, while she darted through the melee with uncanny speed. It wasn't just combat. It was as if her body had learned his rhythm, moving with his reflexes, almost anticipating him. At one point she shouted, "Left," and he obeyed on instinct just as a scavenger's blade whistled past where his head had been. He blinked wide-eyed. Are you reading my mind?" She slashed another rifle in half, ears flicking as if amused. "No, you are simply predictable." "Ouch," he muttered, ducking to reload. "Save the insults for after we survive, all right." The last scavenger tried to retreat, but she caught him by the collar, her glowing veins pulsing brighter as she pinned him against the wall. Her voice was low, lethal. "Tell your pack, not prey." She shoved him back through the airlock and slammed the hatch, severing the boarding line with one decisive stroke of the cutter. Silence fell, broken only by the ship's creaks and Ryan's ragged breathing. He leaned against the console, sweat dripping down his brow. Well, he said finally, that wasn't the worst boarding I've been through. Definitely top 5, though. The alien woman stood in the middle of the cabin, chest rising steady, glow still pulsing in her veins. She turned to him, expression unreadable. Your blood, she said softly, it does not only heal, it changes, it makes me more than I was. He raised an eyebrow, still catching his breath. So what you're saying is I've basically created a super soldier. Great. Command's gonna love this. Can't wait to explain on my next report. She tilted her head, ears relaxing for the first time since the fight. Perhaps it is not only me who has changed. He blinked. What's that supposed to mean? Her eyes gleamed faintly, amused. You bled for me, human. Now we are tangled. You feel it too, do you not? When I fight, your heart races. When I falter, your pulse stumbles. We are bound. Ryan froze, considering it, then muttered, well, that's just fantastic. I didn't sign up for a mystical blood bond package. I barely keep my plants alive. You have plants? She asked, tilting her ears curiously. Had plants, he admitted. They died, which doesn't exactly bode well for our little arrangement. For the first time since he'd found her, she smiled fully, small, sharp, but real. Then perhaps you will try harder this time. He groaned, dragging a hand down his face. Great. I've accidentally married a space elf with glowing veins. Just my luck. Her laugh, quiet but genuine, filled the cabin as the scavenger ships retreated. For once, the silence afterward didn't feel like an enemy. The skiff limped through space, scars fresh from the scavenger attack. The engines made a sound somewhere between a groan and a death rattle, but they held. Ryan sat at the console, tapping at the controls like he was coaxing an old friend to stay alive for one more mile. See, he muttered. Told you she'd make it, never doubted her. Behind him, the alien woman raised an eyebrow. You were cursing at the engines 5 minutes ago. That's called encouragement, he shot back. She only works if you yell at her. Her ears twitched, amused, though she kept her gaze fixed on the viewport. The stars stretched ahead in silent streams, and for the first time since she'd woken, her posture was relaxed. The glow in her veins was steady, vibrant. She looked alive. Ryan let the silence settle for a while before asking, so, what happens to you now? I mean, besides eating all my ration packs and insulting my coffee. She didn't answer immediately. Her fingers brushed her arm where the glow pulsed faintly, human red now tangled with alien light. I should return to my people, she said at last. They will not believe what you have done. They may even fear it. Yeah, people are great at that, being scared of things they don't understand. He leaned back, sighing. You want my advice? Don't tell them the part where I joked about writing poetry. That'll definitely scare them off. She smiled faintly, but her eyes stayed distant. Still, I owe you. My life, my strength. Even my ears hum differently now. That's called tinnitus, he said with a grin. Happens to all of us eventually. Her laugh was soft, brief, but it filled the cabin. Then she tilted her head, studying him. And you? What have you now, Ryan Cole? He hesitated. He'd expected the question, but answering it felt heavier than he liked to admit. Me. I'm a soldier. I'll go back, file a report no one believes, and they'll send me on the next broken skiff to babysit another empty sector. Same old routine. But you are not the same, she said simply. That stopped him. He turned to look at her, really look. She was right. He wasn't the